Wow.
Amazing.
We're gonna make a Marry Me chicken. Does white wine belong to this recipe? I have no idea, but we're gonna find out. Let's go. All right, y'all, we just got done tasting this Marry Me chicken, and I tell you what, we took Marry Me chicken to a whole new world. You guys are gonna love this one. Let's go. All right, y'all. They say Marry Me chicken is that special dish you make that special someone looking for that special answer. I'd say tossing in a little white wine ain't gonna hurt. Today, we're gonna pan fry some chicken breast to an incredible golden brown. Deglaze with a beautiful white wine to create our 6-cheese sun-dried tomato basil cream sauce that's gonna be out of this world. Toss it with some 5-cheese tortellini? Absolutely. They don't say I do after this. It's time to move on. I'm gonna get everything prepped up and ready to roll. Let's go. All right, y'all, I got everything prepped up and ready to roll. First thing first, let's go ahead and get our pan set to medium heat. And what we're gonna do next is go ahead and season our chicken. All right, first up, MSG. If you don't want to use MSG, leave it out. Next up, sea salt. And last but not least, some India Tellicherry peppercorns, freshly cracked. All right, let's go ahead and flip them over and get the other side. All right, now that we have our chicken seasoned, let's go ahead and get them breaded with the dredge. Now you'll notice that we seasoned the chicken and not the flour. I find that with this application, the layer of flour is so thin to begin with that it's really just used to get a really beautiful color, and it'll thicken the sauce just a little bit. What I found is seasoning the chicken directly, you get more flavor and the seasoning adheres to the chicken better for more flavor. We'll also season with a little bit of sea salt the chicken after it's done browning, just to give it that extra kick of salt. So go ahead and get this floured. All right, now that we got our chicken ready, let's go ahead and add some olive oil and some butter and get it up to temp. You want just enough olive oil to cover the bottom of the pan. I would say that's about a half cup. All right, half cup butter. All right, we're gonna go ahead and let that butter get good and melted, and then we're gonna add our chicken. Now, the reason why we use a olive oil and butter combination is one, it'll allow you to get a higher heat, to get a better color on the chicken when browning, with a better flavor from the butter without the butter actually burning. So the oil is kind of a protective layer for the butter preventing burning. However, the butter flavor is absolutely delicious. All right, we're gonna let this butter get good and melted, and we're gonna add our chicken. All right, you guys, we're ready. All right, you guys, chicken's getting there, by golly. Let's go ahead and get stuff ready for our sauce. Now, I have a jar of the sun-dried tomatoes. What we're gonna do is we're gonna go ahead and puree these as fine as we can get it. I did set aside 1 or 2 for garnish, so feel free to do that. All right, let's go ahead and remove that chicken. Oh man, smells delicious. All right, we did get this chicken removed. Let's go ahead and add some white wine to the pan here. It's about a 1/4 cup. All right, you'll notice that allowed us to get the pan nice and clean to where there's nothing stuck to it, and it gets all that goodness into our sauce. All right, let's go ahead and add 1 cup of heavy cream. Two teaspoons of sugar. Now, the reason we add sugar is the tomatoes need the sweetness. With them being sun-dried tomatoes and a good amount of olive oil in this, the white wine and the sugar help sweeten things up a bit, along with the heavy cream. All right, let's go ahead and add some garlic. And some red pepper flakes. Now, you can leave that part out if you don't want a nice mild heat. All right, let's go ahead and add our sun-dried tomatoes. All right, I did decide only to add half of the sun-dried tomatoes, so about a 1/4 cup. 1/4 cup to a 1/3 cup. All right, let's go ahead and get our chicken added back in. And let's go ahead and add a little bit of salt. All right, we're gonna go ahead and wait for our water to boil. That way we can boil our 5 cheese tortellinis. And we're gonna go ahead and let that finish doing its thing. We're pretty close to plating. I'm gonna let this finish up and be right back. All right, you guys, go ahead and check the temperature on the chicken. 163, 62, 64, 64, 65. Oh man, I wish you guys could smell this. It smells delicious. All right, you guys, go ahead and add in some cheese. All right, you guys, now, one thing to take note is this sauce took a lot of whisking to get everything well incorporated. We added about a 1/4 cup of cheese, 1/3 of a cup, something around there. If it's too thick, add a little milk to thin it out to the consistency that you're looking for. Not too thin, though, if you're gonna add a little pasta water to the sauce. So, cool. Let's go ahead and get our 5 cheese tortellinis boiling. All right, and those tortellinis take about 4 minutes. Let's go ahead and get some basil. And what we're gonna do is finish this sauce with some fresh basil. It's gonna be delicious. I love the smell of fresh basil. All right, you guys, adding that milk definitely did the trick for the consistency, as you can see. All right, we got some pasta, we got some sauce, we got some chicken. Check it out. This Marry Me chicken looks out of this world. Oh, buddy. All right, y'all. Cordell, you ready?
I'm ready.
All right, let's give it a try. Mmm. Oh, man. Ooh, that's good.
That's potent.
Yeah. Wow. Woo. All right. Cordell, what's your thoughts?
It's amazing. It's not too dry. It's got all of this flavor packed into.
Yeah, hands down. The sun-dried tomato cream sauce with that basil is absolutely out of this world. The 5 cheese tortellinis goes perfectly with this sauce and perfectly with this chicken. All right, y'all. Till next time. Ciao.
That is good.
Yeah. Out of this world. Cordell, what's your thought?
It looks amazing. Absolutely amazing.
It looks amazing.